people are probably already asking, what is the Forever Agent? And we will get into it. And this is going to be a bit of an anthology. Each one of these points could be a 2-hour podcast in and of itself. We decided to come up with a podcast exclusively for the Forever Agent concept. I want to dive into this. Now, tell us what the 4 C's are. We went over the 4 P's. The 4 C's, these 4 C-letter words, have to remain fluid throughout the entire rest of this presentation. Give it.
You know, before I get there, I want to go back to the 12 for one last point.
Sure.
Oftentimes, if you're on volume appointments, you're going to have home sellers take you to the property, and they're going to point out materials and amenities that they're very prideful of that you're not familiar with.
Sure.
Okay, we bought this. This was imported from Italy. We got this from quarries in South America. Instead of me making believe that I knew exactly what it was, so I couldn't elaborate, I would always go like this. Oh, that's the real McCoy. And for some reason, okay.
I love it.
That we were able to move on, okay? And the other thing is that don't tell people that's beautiful. See, the industry only has 6 words to compliment all homes. Your home is beautiful, lovely, charming, gracious, spacious, and elegant. You've got to find more descriptive. But now let's get back to your question. When you're at that kitchen table, you've got to basically, the way you start the presentation has everything to do with the way you're going to end it.
Right.
So I'm going to first tell you what not to do. What you shouldn't do is that you shouldn't start by not opening open-ended questions. See, a lot of realtors over the years, because we have a scripting fetish in this industry,
yes,
they've been trained to say things like this. Well, I want to help you get the best price in the shortest period of time with the least inconvenience. Even though that may be congruent with home sellers' desires, it's flawed because you're telling, you're not asking.
Right.
Or I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, my company, and what we'll do. That's flawed because it's telling. Instead, you always want to make sure you begin by asking. And here's the question that I would always ask. Folks, tonight I brought some pricing strategies as well as some marketing strategies. Would you like to begin with the pricing or the marketing? Now, what that accomplishes is this, Andrew. It ensures that no one will ever again say to anybody on this podcast, well, can we just get to the price? Or, well, you don't have to sell me on yourself. We know you're a great agent. Those are flawed atmospherics because when you cause an environment that leads to the homeowner having to interrupt you and manifesting rudeness, you're going downhill because you're embarrassing them in front of their partner because you're bringing out rudeness. Don't put them in that spot. Start with an open-ended question. When you start with that open-ended question, would you like to begin with the marketing strategies or the pricing strategies? It does 4 things. It's the 4 C's. Number 1, it shows that you're confident because only a confident person is a critical thinking person and not robotically following scripts that coaches are telling agents to use. That's number. You're confident. Number, because either way, you're a pro. You don't have to rig the order, okay? Number 2, it shows that you're consultative because only a consultant will ask a question like that because that's what consultants do. They ask questions. Number 3, it's collaborative because a marketing proposal is collaborative, whereas a listing presentation is performative. And the 4th C is that it establishes control, but control in the healthy sense of the word, like a pilot being in control of the aircraft or a teacher being in control of the classroom, because sometimes the word control can take on pejorative interpretations, as in a control freak. No, this is different. You're in control because you're creating an atmosphere where the home sellers feel they're in control. So again, that is the way that I recommend forever agents consider beginning every marketing presentation. Folks, I brought some pricing strategies as well as some marketing strategies. Would you like to begin with either the pricing or the marketing.
Beautiful. And those 4 C's are so important: confident, collaborative, consultative, and in control. And when you think about control again, whoever's asking the questions are in control. Okay, whoever sets the frame wins the game. So you have to be asking these questions, and each step in the 7-level step up is those 4 things. You're confident, collaborative, consultative, and in control. So Alan gave you the best way to start off the conversation. So you're sitting down back at the kitchen as you're getting your stuff together. Hey folks, would you guys like to start off with some pricing strategies or some marketing strategies? What a beautiful thing. Let's table pricing. Let's just say they go to marketing first,
Okay.
and we'll come back to pricing.
Sure.
And by the way, in the Learn Center, you have the most beautiful 30-minute segment with Gino Blafari and Bob Watson going over your 3-level pricing strategy. And we will cover it, but I'm just so eager to get to this marketing 7-level step up. I'm going to hold this paper up for anyone watching, and this will be available to the whole global network. And it's essentially what Alan has been doing for decades at an extremely high level, combined with what I've been doing on a timeline. And this one piece of paper is the entire presentation guide. So, Alan, your first step in the 7-level step up is?
Well, first of all, even before that, a lot of the network agents, they don't need this, but the home sellers do.
Right.
See, the agents know what they're talking about, but sometimes the homeowners can't follow it.
Right.
Agents will go to training, and maybe after a week or two, the light bulb goes off. You've got 10 minutes. People do not make decisions when they're confused. You've got to engage people. So the way this one-page proposal works is it basically shows it automatically down the bottom of the proposal. It shows, here's what all the other companies are doing. This is traditional marketing. But traditional marketing is no longer enough in today's market. That's why we have to upgrade the marketing. Now look at the words. This is a customized home marketing system. What does the word customize say to you, Andrew?
It means we can change it. It's malleable.
It means that you're an individual. You're not an interchangeable widget.
Right.
This isn't a Willy Wonka chocolate factory. Okay, this isn't an anti-lock brake system. This is a fluid, customizable system in terms of that. The other thing is that when you say you have a system, it's the best of both worlds, because you think that if a company or an agent's been in business for 10 or 20 years, they've figured out what they do to market homes.
Right.
They'd have a name, they'd have a system. No one wants an anti-lock brake plan. They want an anti-lock brake system, okay? So now let's get to the specifics. So the first step in the customized home marketing system is where you're going to ask the home sellers, you're going to point out to the home sellers, folks, all real estate marketing comes down to 3 words: range, reach, and influence. Let's stop there for a few seconds,
Yes.
a few minutes. If I were to ask, and I've asked this of many of my colleagues around the country, if you were on an airplane and a fellow passenger said to you, Andrew, how does real estate marketing work? Explain it to me. Not every realtor is prepared to answer that like a songbird.
Right.
But thankfully, they don't have to. You know why? No one's ever asked them that. But just because home sellers don't ask them that doesn't mean that an agent shouldn't be able to crystallize complexity and reduce everything in a simple way. You've got to keep it simple. Sometimes I'll be very elaborative because just to get people to be simple.
Right.
So you're going to simplify it. And when you say all marketing comes down to 3 words: range, reach, and influence, no agent would ever say that in their first week in the business on their own. They wouldn't have the experiential knowledge. But if somebody's a forever agent, they're a pro, they're amongst the best, like we'll be meeting up at Summit in Boston, by now they should be able to explain to people, because you've got to give a framework. So therefore, home sellers understand where every single thing you're going to propose fits into the bigger scheme, but it's got to be a skipple scene. Range, folks, is the internet, but every real estate company, brand, brokerage, and agent has access to the internet, as do all of us, okay? So you got that. But today, the internet is instrumental in terms of exposure for your property. The next is reach. Reach is something called IDX. It's an MLS online, digitally, if you will.
Right.
Now, you've added social media to that
Right.
because I was doing this before social media. So now you can talk about that later. So that's reach, okay? But even if we didn't have range or reach, just by virtue of your home being on the MLS, you'd get people coming to the house. So the challenge isn't to get people to your home, rather, in your lifestyle. Our greatest challenge, Andrew, is not range and reach. Our greatest challenge is influence. What will determine the outcome of your home? And remember, because of our brand, most companies focus on selling more homes. Our complete focus is on marketing homes for more. It all comes down to influence. So we have a customized marketing proposal here that will maximize the influence, first with buyer agents and also with buyers. But the only way we can maximize the influence is by your participation. So the first step of our customized home marketing system is I want to ask the two of you, if you'd be kind enough, to take these two little forms here. It will only take you about 5 minutes. And please write down the 3 to 5 greatest reasons that you think will be able to influence buyers and buyer agents to want this home. So now we give people the form. They fill out the form. I take them back. I did this for 20 years. I never had a home seller said, oh, this is part of your training? Oh, this is slick. No, they're completely compelled and immersed in telling their story, okay? That's why they want to be home when buyers are there. And so then when I get the forms, I go like this. You know, folks, it's interesting. Neither one of you put down the number of bedrooms and baths. Now, that's on every ad, but you're right. You've got great instincts because that's not why people are going to buy this lifestyle. I love how you put you can walk to Starbucks. I love how you mentioned the dog park. I love how you mentioned the neighbors. I love what you've done in terms of the library. I love what you've done with the home office because now we have a hybrid environment. A lot of people, they're working from home. That's so smart that you put the office. Office is now more. I love the fact that you put the outdoor kitchen around the pool. That's so important today. And we've got to make sure that this is captured in all the other websites out there, okay? Because that's how we're going to influence. So it's range, reach, and influence. So that's the first step.
So that's the key first step here. Now we have to time out. That's called Home Seller Insights.
It's on the form.
It's on the form, Home Seller Insights. So this transition is really important. Assuming they pick marketing, if they go to pricing, we can talk about that and we will cover it. If they go to marketing, say, well, folks, all marketing boils down to 3 words, range, reach, and influence. You just heard Alan go over that. But the beautiful transition there is when you hammer home influence, you simply say, but first I need you to influence me.
Exactly.
This is the 4 C's in a nutshell. Confident, collaborative, obviously, consultative. We're working together and you're in control because they're still engaged. You're asking them a question. Hey, what are the top 3 to 5 things that you love about this home that you think the next buyer would be so fortunate enough to be able to live here and own this lifestyle? That's unbelievably valuable. Okay, so Home Seller Insights.
And one other thing, Andrew, and you're also establishing a mutual vocabulary because throughout the proposal, you're going to be saying another way that we're going to influence buyers. Another way that we're going to influence buyer agents because now they understand you have a co-strategy.
Yeah, you're co-opting them into your lexicon.
Exactly.
It's now, we don't have time to go into all the psychology behind this,
yeah.
But I can just tell you firsthand, this stuff works like it's like cutting warm butter with a hot knife. It just makes the process so much smoother.
Well, one time I was 37 for 37. The whole company used to have on the bulletin boards, they'd track it. But anyway.
Well, when I was giving my talk in Omaha, which thanks for the compliment, I guess was highly rated, I said, you don't have to do this to list homes, but if my life depended on it, this is the exact first step. And don't miss this, because it is the best way.
Andrew, my feeling is that when people get involved like this, I had the sense that if I told the homeowners, I have to leave right now, I can't be involved in the marketing, they would literally have tears in their eyes because of how they felt about this process.
People never remember what you do or say. They remember how you make them feel.
Amen. Exactly.
That's Maya Angelou.
And see, I've got to even stop saying amen because it may not be politically correct. So I'm going to stop saying amen, but go ahead.
You better cut that out.
Exactly.
So before we go into this next piece, because each one of these steps has a lead in and a perfect flow into the next phase of this, into the next level of the step up, I want to point out that Forever Agent Proclamation 26 is forever agents focus more on what makes a home and lifestyle different than on what makes them different. This is not a listing presentation anymore. Listing presentations are over.
Exactly.
This is a customized forever agent marketing.
That's
proposal.
one of the disputations.
That's what we were disputing. So tell them about the criticizing piece. This is a brilliant thing that I've never done, which I will never not do again. This has got to be part of it.
Well, see, this is all forensically and strategically choreographed over several hundred presentations from presidents to modest home sellers, okay? Modest homes, not modest home sellers. After you go through the process of giving them the opportunity to celebrate that which they cherish, their home, now is the perfect time to introduce the other side of the coin by saying this. Andrew, now that we've gone over all of the reasons why somebody would want to buy this magnificent home, and thank you for your insight and sharing it with me. That's going to be the cornerstone of the text, and we'll get to the images in a minute. Let me ask you this question. Andrew, Amy, is there anything about your property that you think a buyer or a buyer agent might try to criticize to bring the value down that we should strategize over tonight so we can preemptively inoculate ourselves from that criticism? Is there anything you can think of, anybody visiting your home or living in this home now for 15 years, that might be brought up as a negative that we should discuss?
And they'll say things like, well, we're a little close to the road. Our front yard could be bigger. We don't have 3-zone HVAC, so it could get a little hot upstairs. I don't know if we're showing this.
Mm-hmm.
Any number of things. And then how do you rebut those items?
Well, I recommend that our forever agents, when they say something like that, to say this. Folks, by the way, just so you know, over the last 10 years, I've sold in excess of $300 million worth of real estate, and many homes were on much busier streets, and many homes didn't have full ventilation either. I know how to handle that. So we can talk about that later. That's not going to be an issue.
So before we move to the next step, this is the key. Strategizing on things buyers might criticize that will try to diminish this value. Only a consultant would say something like that. Only someone confident would say something like that. You're still being collaborative and you're still in control asking questions.
And not only that, it also celebrates agency. Because if you don't let them know that there's another side of the transaction that ethically is adversarial, because the classic definition of agency is where the agent inclined to one. So presumably, if most buyers would like to pay less for the home, that buyer agent has an ethical responsibility to seek that outcome. So therefore, by articulating that to the home seller, it just makes it more pronounced that you are representing them. Thus, you're creating a bonding.
Beautiful. So that's home seller insights number one. You're getting the top 3 to 5 things that people love about their home, and you're also trying to strategize on what people might do to diminish the value. Now, hit us with the next step. That's step 1, check.
The next one we have is the photo marketing strategy. Don't just talk about pictures, okay? Folks, what we need to do is we need to get together and develop tonight a photo marketing strategy. Now, we can arrange the photography either based on the way I showed the property if I was here physically with buyers, or we can do it the way that people are more likely to search digitally and do it that way. And I'm going to recommend that. So I have a few forms again. What I'd like you to do is this. I'd like you to list, in both of your opinions, what would be the order of the first 5 pictures, because we have the liberty. Some people have monumentally impressive back properties and pool houses. We'll start with this. Some people want to start with the curb appeal, okay? But beyond that, I'd like you to list what you think from all of the years living here and people visiting here, what's been the greatest wow factors? What's been the response? Let's tap into that. So then they're involved in a photo marketing strategy.
So Alan's second step was the photo marketing strategy, and this is where I came in and said, Alan, we're changing this to immense digital influence.
I love it.
Because photos are super important. And one of the words I actually said in the last presentation when I was, immense digital influence is this: photo marketing strategy, compelling video content, and targeted distribution. It's a triangle. So we're adding photo marketing strategy, that used to be enough, not anymore. We need compelling video content. We need a targeted distribution strategy. So that's all in step 2, and I'm going to riff on that for a little bit. But just so you know, this is what I've been saying. And for those who don't know, Alan was the former CEO of Realtor.com when it was the most powerful IDX website on the planet. So we should leverage that. So what I tell a home seller is, how important do you think it is that your home shows well online in the pictures? And they say, oh, it's unbelievably important. I said, we're fortunate enough here at the brand where our senior executive was the former CEO of Realtor.com. We know a thing or two about the order of photos. So, and that's just a great way to just kind of massage this deal and tenderize the home seller and to say, oh my God, this is unbelievably important. Say, trust me, we're going to handle it. We're going to make sure these first 5 photos pop, because we do not gamble with our client's equity when it comes to how it showcases online. Because my job is not only to influence the buyers and the buyer's agents, it's to attract as many people as we possibly can, even before we're actually on the market, to this property.
I love that.
So you have
That's so much better, Andrew. It's so much more contemporaneous. And that's why we're doing this collaboration.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
And so you have the photo marketing strategy. Now, creating compelling content would sound something like this. You'd say, one of the things we do here, one of the components of value we bring to the relationship is we want to make this home look like it's, HGTV, Bravo, Bel Air Living's finest. So I'm going to come here with my film crew and we're going to create compelling content. What does compelling mean? It means it doesn't suck. It means it's something people want to watch. It's engaging. Mm-hmm. And we're going to use these key components from the home seller insights to highlight some of these key things. Now, people aren't going to watch a 6, 7, 8, 9-minute video, but they will watch it for 90 seconds. Fast-paced, drone, music. And I like to play a little game here called Show, Don't Tell, where I just take my phone and say, for example, boom, here's a video we did up the street. It got 33,000 views before we were active on the market and we had people beating down the door. Do you think that would help generate multiple offers? They'd say yes. So we're talking about photo, we're talking about video. And here's what no one does, Alan. And this is what I've discovered. And now that I've been kind of moving and shaking around the country, asking people what they do.
Right.
Because I'm trying to make this better.
Absolutely.
This is as good as I think I can get it now, but I'm sure someone's going to have something better. No one understands how to target compelling content, photo and video, and text, which Alan's the master at. No one can write a listing description like him. You should start a company just writing listing descriptions, because your brain from Town Advisor and all this stuff is just magical. So you have the photo, the video, the text. No one knows how to distribute this properly, because agents have had the crutch of IDX, which is the Internet Data Exchange. When you put the house in the MLS, it goes to Zillow and Realtor.com and a billion other websites. That's not good enough anymore, because you want to get top of funnel. You want to even go more macro and take the control into your own hands. Here's how you do it. You create that compelling content. Who's going to see it? Now, this is a whole nother book that we're not going to go into, but intelligent distribution of compelling content across each social media channel that you can target. And when I talk to the CEO of Chalk Digital, Craig, and some of our other amazing partners, they can help you do this at a level that no one else in the industry is doing.
Because, Andrew, you're not just doing social media, you're doing social media marketing, and there's a world of difference between the two.
People don't understand the difference between social media networking, and social media
Kids
marketing.
are doing social media. They're on TikTok and YouTube. I'm paying you to do social media marketing.
Which is when I say, Alan, I don't care if every 12-year-old on Instagram sees this video. We know the buyer profile demographic for this house. They're going to be between the ages of 28 and 55, living in a 15-mile radius, making over $200K. If we can get everyone to see this before we're on the market, it's going to give us a competitive advantage. So that's a lot of dialogue, but this immense digital influence is a major game changer. And look, God bless them. These agents out there, average age, and this has nothing to do with age, but just the fact, the average age of a real estate professional is 57. They might not be as well versed in creating compelling content, and certainly not distributing it properly across YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok in an intelligent fashion. So,
Andrew, this is not a lot of content for people that take their career seriously. Your family's in the medical community. Doctors take 7 years of study, and then before they even get practicing. Medical students first work on cadavers before they get to the live ones. Most realtors just go right to the live ones. Okay, there's not even the step of preparing like this. When you think of the thousands of hours, there's 8,600 whatever hours in a year. When you think of the thousands of hours network colleagues spend in trying to get listings, not to take an hour or so to be better prepared, to have more confidence. See, the whole idea of what we're doing is to create greater confidence. Because a lot of realtors will say this, my problem's not the listing presentation, I get 90%. But sometimes those are friends and referrals. Those are people in the sphere of influence. Ships are safer in the harbor, but they're meant to go out to sea. If somebody's going to list on a much greater volume, they have to have confidence that no one can say no to them. And that requires what we're getting into.
Absolutely. So yeah, this immense digital influence piece is key. And again, this is only step 2 in the 7-level step up. So in the interest of getting through it all.
But we're not like role playing like we're in a home here.
No.
This is educational, right?
We want, and when you get this sheet, Alan still has it in front of him, so hold up. This is how you present. Home seller insights, immense digital influence. And again, we play show, don't tell. We show them the compelling content. This is major differentiation. And you're confident, you're in control. And here's the questions you'd ask the home seller. Do you think putting this together for your home will increase our chances of attracting buyers to this home without relying on just the real estate ecosystem, which we're going to cover? It's an emphatic yes. And you're nodding when you're saying this, going to the micro psychology of selling.
Right.
So the next one on the 7-level step up is content-rich open houses.
Well, let's stay with the theme of range, reach, and influence.
Yes.
Folks, one of the reasons that I love to have open houses for my clients is because it has everything to do with influencing buyers directly. That oftentimes is the greatest opportunity that I have to speak directly to the buyers in terms of the story that we're creating here tonight. But not only do I do open houses, all realtors, for the most part, do open houses. I do content-rich open houses.
Major difference.
And here's the reason for that. Because a lot of people are uncomfortable when they come to open houses. That's why they don't like to sign in. Sometimes they'll even write their name that you can't read it. Sometimes they'll even write a phony name. So my job is to have people become more comfortable, because if they're not comfortable with me, folks, they're not going to be comfortable with your home. So I don't want to punish your chances because I have flawed atmospheric. So therefore, what I do is as a forever agent, we have content-rich open houses. I have guides here, moving with children, moving with pets, how to downsize, because this basically creates interest. Just like if somebody goes into a hospital, you may see how to reduce your blood pressure,
right,
how to cure diabetes 2 or whatever that is. So we have content-rich open houses. And also, if you like, I have a communication system to make sure that we maximize the possibility of somebody buying your home. For example, if I say to somebody, in your opinion, do you feel this home might meet your family's lifestyles? If they say no, I'm not thinking, well, here's another home. I'm going to say, well, apparently you have some reason for feeling that way. May I ask what it is? Well, because we think the bedrooms are too small. Your bedrooms are great size, but I'm just using this as an example. Well, we think the bedrooms are too small. Well, folks, if you weren't concerned about the size of the bedrooms, let's say the bedrooms were more to your liking, then in your opinion, do you feel this home might meet your family's needs? And then they may say something like, yeah, but we really want to get larger bedrooms. And then I might say, well, the fact that the bedrooms aren't as large may be the very reason that this is a great buy for you, because if you had larger bedrooms, you'd be in the other section of Bel Air. Those homes are $300,000 more. Then I have folks what is called the feel, felt, found technique.
Right.
I will say to the buyer, well, you know, a lot of people who moved here originally felt the same way, but what they found is that Bel Air is so vibrant, the kids aren't in their bedrooms hibernating. Okay, they're out in the community. Plus, you've got such wonderful principal rooms, your family room, the backyard. Okay, now I'm not saying, folks, that that's going to be lead to, okay, we want to buy the house, but I just want to give you a sense. I don't just sit open houses. I don't just manage open houses, because I represent you, and you and I is one. I do everything I can to politely, without any pressure, without any intensity, I try to maximize the interest in everybody that shows interest in your home.
So that content-rich open house is huge, and I've been explaining this quite a bit. And the fact that you actually have this content that is statistically proven to attract different walks of life throughout your your home and the presentation is unbelievably powerful. Like, did you know 72% of people have pets? They might not want to talk to you, and most agents just accost people when they walk in. They want them to sign in. We have a technique called have them sign out. Major distinction.
Exactly. And Andrew, one other thing is like this. Think of this. How many times have you gone into a retail department store and you were approached by a salesperson, may I help you, that actually irritated you? Yet 10 minutes later, when you're looking at merchandise that you're interested in, you're actually frustrated if you can't find the salesperson. We have to learn the way the rest of the world functions, okay? People, they go into Tiffany's, they're not going through JFK-like security. So we have to do a better job of having people feel comfortable, then getting them to sign up because they want all of this content.
So before we jump to the next one, because I'm so passionate about open houses, I think it's the fastest way to increase your income. It should be a cornerstone of many agents' businesses. You get to turn this beautiful property into your store for 2, 3, 4 hours on a weekend, both days if you want to, if you have a little bit of hustle and you want to take this seriously. It's not just a content-rich open house, Alan. It's a well-marketed, it's a well-networked, content-rich open house. What do I mean well-marketed? When you're explaining to the seller, we say, look, we're going to mark this house as an open house on a Tuesday. Every single IDX website on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com will flag this as an open house. It's going to attract every single buyer who's actively out shopping, raising the flag that says, hey, come to 123 Main Street, it'll be open. It's well marketed. It's well networked because we're going to let all the other agents know. And by the way, 90% of the real estate sold by 10% of the agents. We're going to target the top 10 and say, send your buyers to this open house. This is the first look. So it's well marketed, it's well networked, it's content rich, and it's not just the programs that are attracting all walks of life. You have to have the data. This goes back to being proficient in preparation in your open house. Of course, you have here's all the active homes, here's the sold homes, here's the ones that are pending. So you can say things like this when you're talking to a home buyer. Hey, so you're looking between 400 and 500 here in downtown Baltimore and Canton. Well, did you know there's 7 homes active that are similar to this one, 18 are pending, 36 have sold in the last 6 months. You should know that because that's what an appraiser is going to look at. The list to sales price ratio is about 101%. So you can expect to pay 1% over asking price. And you have all this data. You're being so consultative with this buyer. But going back to the listing presentation, the whole goal
Not
here
the
is
listing presentation.
the customized marketing proposal.
Andrew, I'm going to walk
He's
out
disgusted.
of this.
I don't know if you caught that.
All this work? Go ahead. Andrew, please. What got into you?
Getting back to the customized home marketing system.